Victory Run marks the final PC Engine release of 1987, so we're already through our first year. Okay, it helps that there's only been 2 months worth of releases, but progress is progress. The subtitle for Victory Run is Ego no Mansanzen Kiro, or The Glory of 13,000 Kilometers, which tells you even before you play it that this is a game based on the Paris-Dakar Rally. The race started in 1978, and as the name implies, it's a rally race that took place on roads and cross-country, going from Paris, France to Dakar, Senegal. The 1988 race started January 1st, 1988, so 3 days before that would be the perfect time to release a game based on it. The rally really started gaining prominence in the mid-80s. As part of that, Mitsubishi was a major sponsor for the 1988 race, developing a whole new car just for it. That would be why Mitsubishi is on the cover for Victory Run, though as far as I can tell, this was not authorized. A big sign of that is how the car you drive in the game is not a Mitsubishi. The Mitsubishi car actually did pretty well in the race, with its driver Kenjiro Shinozuka coming in second, just 2 minutes behind the winner. And considering that's 2 minutes on a race of 13,000 kilometers, that's a pretty good result. Naturally, an event getting a lot of attention in Japan resulted in a lot of video games based on it. Victory Run happened to be the only one to get out before the race, and the other games just couldn't stand up to its quality. Racing games are consistently one of the most popular genres of video games. It's something that everyone's familiar with, and you really can't get into a fast car and drive like a madman in real life, at least not without endangering others. Here's what you could get for rally racing on the Famicom: Famicom Grand Prix 2 3D Hot Rally. It was released on the disk system about 3 months later, and it's a better comparison than the real Paris-Dakar Rally game. And this is a pretty technically impressive game for the system at the time. It has pretty smooth scrolling, shifts in elevation as you drive, and there's even 3-dimensional graphics if you've got the peripheral. Of course, the gold standard for racing games in 1987 was Outrun. Sega brought it home to the Mark III about 6 months before Victory Run was released. And while the visuals were obviously a big step up from anything the Famicom could produce, there weren't enough steps in how the terrain was scaled, and so it made the game look very choppy. And that finally brings me to Victory Run. Victory Run breaks the race up into 8 stages, and these aren't just simply a different set of turns. The wilderness courses, as you make your way through the Sahara Desert, have completely different driving properties. The way that you drive has to change with every leg. When you start the game, after you get to enter 3 letters for your name, you need to choose which spare parts you'll carry with you for the whole race. You have 20 total, and these have to be divided up between your tires, gearbox, engine, suspension, and brakes. Wear on these also affects how your car behaves, and it's pretty dramatic. As your gearbox starts to go out, higher gears are no longer available. Making things a bit more complicated is that even though there's only 4 colors for wear indicator, blue, green, yellow, red, the actual changes in car behavior don't occur at those color changes. A part can show blue and still be severely affecting your racing. When you complete a leg, you can spend a part to bring that back to 100%. And that's true even if it's showing blue. Tires get worn by taking turns too hard without slowing down. The suspension gets damaged as you drive on rough roads or take big jumps. And the engine gets worn down as you drive the car in the red line. My own advice for the parts to take with you are emphasize the tires and the gearbox. In fact, you should change those just about every leg. You can probably get away with not doing it after the first leg, but after that, you want them to be in good shape. When these parts go bad, they basically prevent you from completing the leg, and they're especially vulnerable to wear. Suspension would be my next priority because it can get worn down just by driving, but the effect it has is less severe. And of course, if the engine goes, you're in real trouble, but the engine seems to be the most durable part of your car. and you have to be driving really crazy to get any noticeable wear on your brakes. So that would be the lowest priority. The way that Victory Run translates a rally-style race to a video game is that every leg has a timer. Naturally, you want to complete the leg before it reaches 0, but if it does reach 0, it's not game over yet. Instead, you start with a pool of 60 extra seconds. And once the leg timer reaches 0, you start drawing from it. Once that pool reaches 0, then it's game over. So you can complete a leg a little bit behind schedule, and then hopefully do better on the next leg. But if you can't do better, well, you still have a little bit of leeway. Across all 8 legs, you can't be more than 7 seconds late to each stop, but this pool prevents you from just playing the same stage or two of Victory Run over and over and over again until you get it perfect. That doesn't mean the game is easy, though. To complete a leg before you have to dip into that extra pool, you have to drive perfectly. And that doesn't just mean not crashing. If you hit a hill going too fast, for example, you jump and lose time. Or if you hit a rough patch in the road, you'll skid to one side and lose time. Not to mention all of the little time losses that would occur just dealing with the heavy traffic. Victory Run is another case of a PC Engine game just being brutally hard. Especially in the road legs where you're going so fast that you won't be able to see obstacles as they come up. You'll pull around a truck, hit a bad spot on the road that wasn't visible until you started to go around it, and then slam into the terrain. Fortunately, those are all consistent, so you can memorize their placement, but hitting those at high speed is going to make you really unhappy. Victory Run had a TurboGrafx 16 release as Victory Run. As far as I can tell, the two versions are effectively identical. They didn't even do that thing where they just swap kilometers per hour out for miles per hour, and the Japanese version of Victory Run is completely in English. Victory Run was one of the big system sellers for the PC Engine when it was released. At the end of 1987, this is the best racing game that you could play in your home. There's not even close competition. But this is another case where the bloom has come off the rose a bit. Current fans of the PC Engine just find the game to be too difficult. Now, it may be due to the fact that I've been playing Famicom and FDS-based racing games for 4 years, but I actually think Victory Run is pretty good. It could definitely be better, especially when it comes to how you handle car repairs. But I think this is a really good arcade racer. I liked how your car performed differently on different legs. I like how they use that pool of time to let you make extra distance as you're learning the game. And I think it's pretty strong visually, especially for a console game in 1987. It feels like Hudson was trying to outdo Outrun here. And while they couldn't beat the arcade version, they definitely beat the home one.